Welcome to Stack Fitness Weekly. On this episode, we're going to show you how to get stronger and more powerful with a simple piece of equipment. We have Pete Holman here, who's a physical therapist and a strength coach. He's going to show us how to do it.
Cool, Andy. Here's what I like. This resistance cord, resistance band, is a great way to get strong. You can pick these up at any sporting goods store. We're going to do 3 exercises. First, we're going to do a push. Let's use your left hand. We're going to do a push, pull, and a rotation, okay? 3 of my favorite all-time resistance band exercises. So the push, I want you to start out with just a cylinder motion of the shoulders, the spine, and the hips away from the target, okay? And you get a little pivot. Notice this pivot on the ball of the rear foot. This is an important aspect because it's going to drive the left knee and the left hip towards the target. That's where your power comes from, right from the hip. Okay, now, Andy, what I want you to do is add on that punch, that push, okay? There you go. And now we get the upper body, the explosive muscles in the chest, the anterior deltoid, the triceps going towards the target. Think about it as a punch, okay? And I don't care, you don't have to be a boxer. Any football player needs to deliver power through that kinetic chain from low to high. All right, let's take a look at the next exercise. This is going to be the opposite. It's going to be a pull, okay? So another foundational movement pattern. We're going to do the reverse, Andy. So it's going to be a reverse pivot mechanic. We're going to try to steal some power from the hip by rotating the ball of the foot away from the target. So drive this right hip back as you pull. There you go. Good. Pushing off the front leg, pulling with the upper body, the lats, the biceps, all those powerful muscles in the upper body, and then stealing a little bit of power from this hip, driving back into external rotation and abduction. Those are fancy words, you don't need to worry about that. It's just getting more power from the core. Good, one more rep. Beautiful, okay? So we got the push, we got the pull. Now we gotta have a rotation. Every sport involves rotational mechanics. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna face sideways to the anchor point, both hands on the resistance band, and all I want you to do is, again, get this rotation, this cylinder-like rotation of the shoulders and the hips. And I want those hips moving. There you go. You're gonna feel a little stretch inside your hip joints, okay? Think about the core being tight and strong. Come on, tighten up, Andy. There you go. That's stacked strong right there. Okay, now I want you to rotate on the ball of that left foot as you come across. Now you got the power. Ooh, you feel that power? Good, 2 more, come on. Hit, beautiful. Hey, resistance bands are no joke. They're gonna get your heart and lungs going, they're gonna activate the core, and they're gonna give you strength and power.
Thanks, Pete, for showing us those. I'm torched after a couple of reps. It's good stuff. I'm Andy Haley, and thank you for watching Stack Fitness Weekly. Welcome to Stack Fitness Weekly. On this episode, we're at D1 Sports Training in Columbus, Ohio, and we have head strength coach Chuck Gresham. He's going to show us a conditioning circuit that you can do with only a barbell. Chuck, can you show us how to do it?
Yes. So we're going to go through a circuit. It's going to move, plyo movements and just a little bit of hang cleaning, Olympic movements. So we're going to have a hang clean starting off right here from the knees up, nice and easy. Flip the wrist, coming up and back, using the hips up and down. We're going to go for 5 reps. 5 reps. Right after that, we're going to narrow our hands, wide base, right underneath the knees, pulling up to the chin. Underneath the knees, pulling up to the chin. Right after that, straight up overhead press, elbows underneath, pop the head through, elbows underneath, pop the heads through. Right after that, we'll go right into a back squat. Back squat, good, hips back, sitting down, getting low, right back up, getting down, getting back up, and then we'll finish, a little bit of hamstrings, RDL, knees slightly bent, hips back, chest up and down, back, up and down. We'll go for 5 reps apiece. 5 reps apiece is good cardio and will help out the body and the circuit system, and we'll get a little bit of motion and movement through it.
Great, we'll try it out.
Easy 5 reps. 1, there you go. Good. There you go. Now wide base, narrow hands. Right underneath the knees, pull it up to the chin. All the way up, pull. Here we go. Good posture. Right into an overhead press. Drive up, pop the head through. There we go. Up and down. Here we go. Knee slightly bent. There you go. Here we go. Behind the head, good squat, hips back, hips back. There we go, good depth, good depth. Chest up, eyes up. There you go. There you go. Bring it over top. There we go, right into RDLs. Knee slightly bent, hips back. There we go. Eyes up, chest up. There you go, nice and easy. Close to the body, close to the body. There you go. There we have it.
It's good. So for someone that's more advanced, should they do more reps or should they add more weight?
I would say go to 10 reps. 10 reps is usually pretty feasible for a person that's a little more advanced. You also get the cardio out of it. And if you're not satisfied there, then you can add 5s to 10s. I wouldn't suggest any higher weight.
How many sets should you do?
Sometimes here we go 4 to 6 sets. 4 to 6 sets usually takes care of the body. Good reps, good motion control, and make sure you're getting good depth and you'll get a good workout out of it.
How about rest time between sets?
Rest time in between sets, we look for about 5 to 10 seconds going on to the next exercise.
Okay, great. I'm Andy Haley, and thank you for watching Sac Fitness Weekly.
On the kettlebell swing, we're really trying to just get some good hip extension. So we're loading, when they come back down between their legs, they get a good eccentric contraction, but it also is a preload for their next rep. They drive their hips forward, they're getting knee extension with it. This was kind of more of a warm-up activity. Some days we'll go right up onto our toes for kind of a triple extension movement, but today it was more of a knee and hip extension, and we're trying to get the hips forward as much as we can and squeezing the glutes at the top. And so we find that it helps with not only our warm-up, because he was going to deadlift today, but it also helps with our explosiveness. Just from jumping and running, you know, guys really don't do a great job of firing their glutes, and the kettlebell swing is a great way to get their glutes firing, to reinforce that hip extension, and we don't see that a lot in basketball. You watch guys run up and down the floor, and not a lot of guys are getting great hip extension. Or even when they jump, they may have tight hip flexors, which are limiting that hip extension. So before we even did those, we also did hip flexor stretches so we could get long on the front side, and then we could fire the glutes. We were doing 3 sets of 10 today for the warm-up.
This is Dwight Howard, and I'm gonna show you how to get quick feet. The importance of having great footwork. You have to learn how to dance. You don't know how to dance, you don't have any rhythm, there's no way you can have good footwork. So what I would suggest is you start off with a cha-cha slide. And you learn how to cha-cha a little bit, cha-cha real smooth. Now you just get that step down right there. That's for beginners. And for me, on the basketball court, what I try to do, since I'm not the tallest center, I try to find ways to go around, use angles, and that by doing that, you also have to have great footwork. So you have to be able to fake somebody with your foot. It's a little step, just like like you dance, a little step, You know what I'm saying? So you're in the game, you have the ball, you get somebody a little step. Then you at the ball with it, you step and bam. Then you might be able to and go without walking. So you always have to work on the small things. In order to be a great defender, in order to play pick and rolls, you always have to be on your toes, you have to be ready to move, you gotta be down in the stance. Once you're down in the stance, you'll be able to stay in front of anybody. And it's all about having quick feet, just having a little rhythm and a little bounce to your step. The reason why I've been successful at being a great defender is reading opponents, reading what they like to do when they have the ball on the perimeter. Also having quick feet, being able to change directions very fast. Having court grip is great for guys who love to play defense, guys who love to run around and move, do all different types of things on the court. Growing up, we played on some pretty bad courts, and we were all afraid to make certain moves because we would slip and slide and sometimes break our ankles. So we had to use something to really help us with our grip. We tried everything. None of the stuff has really worked. Then once I got to the NBA a couple years ago, they came out with court grip. And we put some of that on our feet, on our shoes. We started selling it around the country, and guys have played defense like never before. This helped me win a couple of trophies. Thank you, court grip. You watch the stat.
For me, it's no smiles. That's like the Georgetown way. You know, when you get out there, you look your opponent in the eye and you say you're ready to go.
When I don't feel like doing, the last three, keep going till it's over. That's just the main thing, just keep pushing through to the end.
On the court, when I come in, you just have that confidence, no matter where you're at, no matter what you're doing. You just got a good feeling about yourself that you could go out there and do whatever you want.
My main goal is always to get better, from beginning to end, to get better and be the best player in the court, no matter who it is.
I will sacrifice whatever I have to sacrifice. I spend every night in the gym. That's what I want to do.
Obviously you want to keep going, but your body's telling you no, but you keep fighting. And that's what I feel out there on the court.
To win, that was the biggest thing to me. I don't care how many points I scored. As long as we won the game, I was happy.
It's more of just going out there, just proving that, I do got game and I can hoop with the best of the best.
My mindset in the NBA is this: you always have to put the hard work in. It may not be this week or next week, but eventually, if you keep working, you'll see it.
I just envisioned us losing, and what that did was just motivate me. It just pushed me through that workout. As bad as I wanted to quit, that's what kept me going.
I am who I am. Your approval isn't needed. That's one of my favorites. Because at the end of the day, I am who I am. So whatever you're talking about or whatever your perception of me, doesn't matter. This is who I am as a person.
Bench press is just total upper body power and strength. His sets and reps, he has a routine that he really likes doing for himself. He does a pyramid technique, 10-8-6-4-2, and goes, each set increases weight until he gets to his max set of 2 reps. The pyramid, endurance, strength, and most importantly, for his position, because he is a power player, increases the power and the fast twitch muscle fibers. Yeah, a lot of athletes, when they do the bench press, they forget about their core strength to keep that activated, and they really hyperextend their low back. So that's one of the things you need to be careful with, is that you're not hyperextending too much and overdoing it, especially in a sport like basketball. We're not trying to kill the guys with weightlifting. You know, we're doing, especially during the season, weights that they're comfortable with, but are still maxes for them. That's why we don't do ultimate maxes of like 1 rep. You know, the last set of 2 is generally a weight that he can handle, but is still stressing the muscles.
Welcome to Stack Fitness Weekly. Today we're going to show you 3 compound movements that work the entire body. I have Glenn Pishing here from BodyWise, and he's going to show you how to do each exercise. Glenn, can you discuss the benefits of these exercises?
Yeah, we normally do compound movements. Normal training doesn't do a lot of muscle isolation in sports, so we try to work all the big muscle groups together to get bigger and stronger. You get a better workout, burn more calories, work the whole kinetic chain as a system instead of one muscle at a time.
So what exercises are you going to show us today?
Today we're going to go over the deadlift, the double kettlebell clean and press, and the Turkish get-up. We're going to do the deadlift here. We want our feet closer than shoulder width apart. You want to act like you're going to jump to apply force to the ground to get the weight up. So I'm going to reach down, arms are straight down, butt's down, chest is up. Big breath in, pull the bar to your shins, drag it right up your shins, and pop your hips to the bar. Keep your weight on your heels as you're pulling through. Up the legs, heels.
Okay, I'm going to give it a try now. Glenn, can you coach me up as I go through it?
Yes. Keep your feet pretty close. Drag it right up the legs, hips back. Good. So what we look for is to keep it close to the shins and getting the hips forward at the lockout. Feel like you're pulling backwards through your heels. You know, it should almost feel like you're gonna tip backwards at the top of the movement. Right up the shins and popping the hips. Chest is up. Good. All right, so our second compound movement is gonna be the double kettlebell clean and press. So what we're gonna do is kind of get the kettlebell on the inside of our heel with our feet out, a little bit in front of you. You're gonna grab the kettlebell and swing back, and come up and clean. Elbows are tight, resting on your body, and then just press up. Back down in, swing back through, tight in, and press through. Andy, you wanna give it a try?
Sure.
Swing it back behind you. Keep your elbows in and tight to the body. So normally, yeah, we'll see people bending over a little bit farther than normal. Elbows are flared out a little bit and stay tight through the trunk as you're pressing. A lot of people won't try to swing back either. They'll just try to pull it straight up. All right, so our last compound movement is going to be the Turkish get-up. We're going to swing it back to a clean position, press. You're going to step back with the opposite leg onto your knee, pivot the foot, drop the hand so it's supporting the bell, thread your leg through, down to your elbow, to your back. Keep this leg up. You're going to push off of this leg into the arm, up to your hand. Elevate the hips, thread the leg through, come up, and stand up. All right, Andy, you want to give this a try?
Sure.
Swing it back through to a clean, press, and then step back with your left, pivot that toe, post your hand, thread through, and back. Good, and then push into that elbow, hips up, thread the leg all the way back through, and stand. Good, focusing on the kettlebell through the whole motion. You'll kick the foot back. A lot of people don't kick that foot back and get stuck. And push with that leg into the elbow. Thread it all the way back and stand.
Thanks, Glenn, for showing us these 3 great compound movements. I'm Andy Haley, and thank you for watching Stack Fitness Weekly. Welcome to Stack Fitness Weekly. On this episode, we're going to show you 3 yoga moves that you can incorporate into your workout. I have Sean Sterling here from BodyWise, who's a certified yoga instructor. Sean, a lot of professional athletes and even people that just hit the weight room are starting to incorporate yoga into their workouts. Explain why it's so beneficial for them.
Well, first off, when you're doing a lot of strength and conditioning as an athlete, which is extremely important for developing your explosive power, your strength, and all the facets that are appropriate for various sports, your body has a tendency to acclimate stress and accumulate tension and things that have a habit of inhibiting your flexibility, your mobility, and your ability to really be agile and use that strength at your sport. So oftentimes yoga is used to help loosen those things up in the body, start to regain your flexibility and your mobility back so that the strength that you do gain in the weight room can be fully applicable to the sport that you play.
Great, so what 3 yoga moves are you going to take us through today?
Well, we'll run through 3 different movements. The first 2 are considered to be sun salutations, sun salutation A and a sun salutation B, and they are what they consider to be vinyasa or flow movements, so one movement builds into the next. They cover a lot of bases, so if you were to do 2 things, these 2 things would help loosen up a lot of the body. The third movement that we're going to do is known as half pigeon with a slight little twist that I'm going to add to it to open up the hip before we go into it. And that's excellent for athletes because athletes are running a lot and they're putting a lot of strain on the hips, especially the IT band on the outside of the hip, and half pigeon will help alleviate a lot of that undue stress. So from here, should I demonstrate them at this point?
Sure.
Okay. So the first one, again, sun A, as you inhale, reaching high, you'll watch me first. Exhale, you'll fold over the legs, stretching the hamstrings. You inhale, lengthen the spine, straight as an arrow. Exhale, palms down, you'll step your legs back. Here's a strength component as you lower into a low push-up. Here's a spinal mobility component as you lengthen the spine. And then as you exhale, coming back into downward dog. Come up on your toes, you bend your knees, you walk your feet forward. You lengthen the spine once again. Exhale, fold over the legs, reach the arms high, and you begin over again. So again, that's called a sun A or sun salutation A. A very basic version of it. There are many variations on it, but that's the simplest one to teach.
Great.
The second one is called a sun salutation B. It's a build-up of that. So you'll come down, fold over the legs, same initial start, palms down, stepping back, high to low. And the only thing you're adding here is you're adding a step through into warrior one, rotating the back foot. So your back foot's rooted down as you raise your arms high overhead. This opens up the hip. As you come back down, stepping the right leg back, again, strength component, spinal mobility component here in upward dog. Exhale, downward facing, stepping your left foot forward, rotating the back foot, opening up. Exhale, taking the hands down to the mat, left leg back, high to low once again. Exhale, downward facing dog. Up on the toes, bend the knees, walk your feet forward, lengthen, fold, reach your arms high overhead, and you start again. Okay? And the third movement is from a downward facing dog. Here, we open up the hip, stacking the right hip on top of the left. The hips are really tight in athletes. Right knee to your right wrist, right ankle to your left wrist. Usually the knee is going to be slightly bent. You'll notice mine is straight. I'm abnormally flexible, so most people are going to have this bend in the knee. You'll fold over and you'll hold this position, usually for somewhere right around a minute. And then from there, you'll come back up, slowly moving the leg back, coming back into downward, and then you'll do the other side. Those are the 3 movements.
I'm new to yoga, so this is going to be a great opportunity for you to learn some of the common mistakes that someone with no experience would make.
All right, so we're going to start off with sun A. So bring your feet together, all the way together. Yeah. Reach your arms high overhead. Exhale as you fold over the legs, reach the hands all the way down towards the mat. Perfect. Inhale, lengthen the spine, halfway lift, walk your hands on your shins, your thighs. Perfect. Exhale, palms down to the mat, step your legs back. High to low push-up. As you inhale, come into an upward dog. Perfect. Exhale, downward dog. Tailbone high. Come up on your toes. Bend your knees, walk your feet forward between the hands. Inhale, lengthen, halfway lift, elongate the spine, hands on the shins, yes. Exhale, fold over the legs. Reach your arms high overhead, big breath in. Exhale, palms together, forward fold over the legs once again. That's a Sun A. Perfect. Awesome. Okay, so the next one's a modified Sun B. So Andy, raise your arms high overhead, big breath in through the nose, exhale, fold over the legs, halfway lift, lengthen, yep, straight as an arrow. Exhale, palms down, step or float back, high to low push up, lengthen cobra, and then exhale, downward dog. Now step your right foot forward close to your right thumb. Rotate the back foot down before you raise the arms. Whole foot down, yes. So common mistakes here, pause right here, Andy. Common mistakes are back foot. You'll see people with their foot up in the air. You want the whole foot down. Take a big breath in. Exhale, hands down to the mat. Step your right leg back. High to low push up again. Strength component, spinal mobility. Exhale, downward facing. Now step your left foot forward, close to the left thumb, between the hands. Rotate your back foot down. Whole foot down once again. Inhale, reach the arms high. Exhale, hands come back down to the mat. Step your left leg to the back, high to low, lengthen, cobra, and exhale, downward facing dog. Come up on your toes, bend your knees, walk or float forward between the hands. Lengthen once you step forward, halfway lift, yep. Exhale, fold over the legs, and reach your arms high overhead. So there's a lot of variations on this. Oftentimes there's a chair pose incorporated into the flow, but I took that out because this is for athletes and building mobility versus just the strength components. So now let's go into downward dog, and we're going to do half pigeon on your right leg. Go into downward facing dog for me, please, Andy. Yes. Now reach your right leg high. Now bend your knee and open up the hip. Yes. Now straighten the right leg towards the back, and then place your right knee right next to your right wrist. Angle down, yes, release the back foot. Now you're going to notice here that he's stretching his right hip. Now there's common injuries within sports usually related to knees, and usually knee injuries are related to the joint that's above or below. So what's happening here is you're lengthening the IT band, you're stretching the hip flexors, okay, which has a lot of benefit for athletes that run a lot. And people that play baseball, basketball, football, all those sports apply to this stretch, even hockey players, okay? So you'll hold this generally from 30 seconds to about a minute, maybe a minute and a half, depending on how tight you are, okay? Be breathing here deeply. Again, in through the nose, out through the nose, or out through the mouth. Helps release the tension in the body. Really be focused on your practice. Again, wandering mind is not good in this situation. Be really focused. And you come on back to downward dog. Nice and slowly place the hands down. Slowly come back. And then switch sides, left leg high, equal out the sides. Bend the knee, open up. First opening up this hip. Bend the knee a little more. Yep. Straighten it back. Left knee. Yep, got it. Fold over the leg, release the back foot. And just stretching the other side. So oftentimes you'll find that people hold the head up like Andy's doing here. You want to find a way to rest the head down. And you can use a block. You can use your hands. You want to find a place to rest that because we're not trying to increase tension in the body. We're trying to release the tension in the hip. So again, through your breath, again, good deep breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Good job, Andy. Slowly make your way back into downward dog. And then you're done. Awesome. Excellent.
Thanks, Sean, for taking us through those 3 yoga moves. I'm Andy Haley, and thank you for watching Stack Fitness Weekly.